Let's talk about Kyshawn George, the 6'8", 205-pound wing from Miami. And this guy, of all the players who I think are going to be drafted outside of the lottery, outside the top 10 even, he has the highest potential in my opinion. And part of that is because there's a lot of unknown with Kyshawn George. And then the other half is that what I do know about Kyshawn George, I really like. And I think that some of the unknown is going to end up turning out positive for George. So what does he do really well? Well, first off, he's a surprising one-and-done guy. He played like 24 minutes for Miami. He didn't really start till midway through the season. And they had a really, really rough season. They had a lot of injuries on the team. A season before, they were in the Final Four. This year, they weren't even in the top half of the ACC. So it was a tale of two seasons at Miami. Unfortunately for Kyshawn George, he comes in from Switzerland, and it's not the best environment for him. There's guys in and out of the lineup. He's got to adjust to who he's playing with on a given basis, and sometimes, quite frankly, the talent around him wasn't the best. But what we got to see from Kyshawn George is a guy that I think could be really special at the NBA level. He's a great shooter. He made 41% of his threes, and he's a really good passer. He's got the ball comes out differently from his hands in a way that you'd only see from really good passers, in my opinion. It whips out cross-court passes that have a zip on them that just get to his teammate really fluidly and in a great location for them to make a play with it. He's got really good size for the position. He brought the ball up a ton, especially when Nigel Pack wasn't in the court. He would kind of trade off plays or really take the majority with Beverly at Miami. And I think he's going to play as either a 2 or a 3. Now at the 2, he's got great size. As a 3, he's got decent size, I would say. Maybe even average depending on who he's matched up against. The best skill I think that Kyshawn George has, he's got a high basketball IQ. He's got a good feel for spacing, for where he should be on the court and when he should be looking to shoot versus pass. He just has a good feel for the game. So on the flip side, some negatives, some weaknesses for Kyshawn George. While playing time and unknown are one thing, inconsistency is another. And there were games where he just couldn't make a shot. He didn't look like himself. And as much as, you want to chalk it up to the uncertainty in the environment, he still has to perform to the best of his abilities. And there was too many games where he had, a handful of points, 3 points, etc. Didn't shoot the ball well, didn't have an impact on the game. Like I mentioned before, he didn't play a ton at Miami, and he could certainly use some time at the G League level to get more reps and to increase his confidence and just mature as a basketball player. He's a little bit older as a guy who is a freshman. He's going to be 20 and a half years old by the time the draft takes place. And so there may not quite be as much upside as other guys, but I think there's certainly a lot to be developed with a guy like George. He's got to get stronger, and he needs to be more aggressive getting to the basket. And I saw flashes of that as the season went on, and I do think with his frame, he will get stronger. There's easily room for him to, put on some muscle there. And I think that will help him with two areas, getting to the basket. And then his defense is good, averaged around a steal per game, half a block or so per game. But there were times where he was out-muscled, and he just wasn't necessarily able to maintain position. And so I think he gets stronger, becomes a little bit better an athlete being in the NBA, goes from 205 to, let's say, 225, and then all of a sudden he's getting to the basket a little bit better. He's keeping guys from getting to the basket or gaining position on him on defense, and then I think he becomes a little bit more explosive just getting to the basket and just making moves. So would I draft Kyshawn George? Yes, 100%. And I think he's going to go higher than people initially thought. I've seen him initially being mocked in the late 20s, Then I saw some more like early 20s. Now I'm starting to see occasionally like late 20s, or like the Magic seem to be a popular place at pick 18. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes back half of the lottery. He just is a guy in a year where there's a lot of guys who seem to profile as good role players. He's one of the few players that I could see developing into, like a number 2 option at the NBA level. So my confidence with Kyshawn George is about 70%. I'm curious what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below. Subscribe to the channel for more great NBA content. I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Sorry about the dog.